On July 12, 1963, a man told his partner that he wanted to commit the perfect murder. He told her to drive around while he followed on his motorcycle. When he spotted a potential victim, he would flash his headlights at her. He saw a good fit, but then recognized the girl as an 8-year-old neighbor. He then flashed his headlights for 16-year-old girl. The woman offered her a ride, and she accepted, hopping into the van. If you're into true crime, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. Thank you and enjoy. The teen picked up was Polly Reed. When Reed entered the vehicle, the woman asked for help in finding a lost glove. She agreed. They drove to the location of the missing glove, and the man arrived on his motorcycle, but the woman just said he was helping find the glove as well. The woman waited in the van as Pauline and the man went off to find the glove. Around 30 minutes later, the man returned alone. He took his partner to the spot where a body lay in disarray, with 2 cuts to the throat and a slit voice box. The woman asked him if he had essayed her. "Of course I did," he replied. Pauline Reed was the first victim of the Moores murders, a series of murders committed by couple Ian Brady and Myra Hindley. Ian Duncan Stewart Brady was born on January 2, 1938, in Glasgow, Scotland. His childhood was marked by poverty and instability, as his parents separated shortly after his birth. Raised by his single mother, he reportedly faced disciplinary issues in school. Brady developed a fascination with Nazi Germany and Adolf Hitler during his adolescence. He immersed himself in literature related to Nazi ideology and collected books about torture and sadism. As a child, Brady displayed signs of cruelty to animals, a common trait among individuals who later become serial killers. He was known to harm cats and other small animals in his neighborhood. Myra Hindley was born on July 23, 1942, in Manchester, England. She came from a working-class family, and her parents were relatively strict, instilling traditional values in their children. Hindley's family life was not marked by significant turmoil or dysfunction. However, she later described her father as a strict disciplinarian. There were no evident signs of abuse or trauma in her childhood. On the 23rd of November 1963, at a market, Brady and Hindley offered 12-year-old John Kilbride a ride home, saying his parents might worry that he was out so late. They also promised him a bottle of sherry. When Kilbride was inside Hindley's car, Brady said they would have to make a detour to their home for the sherry. Brady then suggested another detour, this time to search for a glove Hindley had lost on the moor. When they reached the moor, Brady took Kilbride with him while Hindley waited in the car. Brady essayed Kilbride and tried to slit his throat with a 6-inch blade before strangling him with a shoelace. He then buried his body in a shallow grave, and afterwards photographed Hindley and her pet dog standing on the grave. John Kilbride would become the second victim. On June 16, a 12-year-old child by the name of Keith Bennett was on the way to his grandmother's house when Myra asked him to help her load some boxes into her van after she would drive him home. Brady was in the back of the van. Hindley drove to the moor and Brady went off with Keith looking for a lost glove. After 30 minutes, Brady returned alone. He told Hindley that he had again essayed Keith and strangled him to death with a string. This was the third victim of the evil couple. Brady and Myra went to a fair on December 26, 1964, and noticed a 10-year-old girl all by herself. They approached her and accidentally, aka on purpose, dropped some bags they were lugging, then asked her for help in taking them to their car. They then took her to a house not far where she was gagged, undressed, and made pose for photographs before being essayed and killed. The entire attack audio was recorded. It is unsure which one of the two committed the murder. They both blamed it on each other. The following day, the murderers drove the body down to the moor and buried her, naked with her clothes next to her. The 10-year-old's name was Leslie Ann Downey, and she became fourth victim. October 6, 1965, the Hindley drove Ian to look for victims and decided to go to Manchester Central Railway Station, where a 17-year-old boy by the name of Edward Evans was. Ian supposedly took Evans home by charm with intentions of a sexual encounter. They drove to the couple's home. This particular time, Hindley was told to fetch a man named Smith, her brother-in-law. They came back and Smith was told to wait outside the kitchen. Whilst waiting, Smith heard loud screaming. He ran in and saw Ian standing over top of Edward with a hatchet. He with all his might took a swing to the side of Evans' head, delivering a fatal blow. Smith the next morning returned home and armed himself before making his way to a phone box to tell the police what he had saw. He was picked up by a squad car and taken to the police station and told them what he witnessed. Superintendent Bob Talbot went to the estate along with a detective. He went to the back door and identified himself to Hindley and was then led into the living room where he discussed his reason of visitation, which was an act of violence involving a weapon. Bradley denied and allowed police to look around the house. There was a locked room. Bob asked for the key and Hindley lied and said she left it at work. Ian told her to tell the truth and give them the key. Upon entrance to the room, Edward Evans' body was found lying lifeless on the bed. Ian was arrested on suspicion of murder. Hindley was not initially arrested. Upon a more in-depth search of the house, all evidence to link the duo to 5 murders was found. By December 2nd, Brady had been charged with the murders of Kilbride, Downey, and Evans. Hindley had been charged with the murders of Downey and Evans, and being an accessory to the murder of Kilbride. If there are any other cases or stories I should look into, let me know in the comments. And as always, until next time on Cold Case.